Inside this video, I'm going to take you through the process of delivering a strength assessment. What is a strength assessment? A strength assessment is, in my opinion, how fitness should be sold, especially if your service is boutique, if it is more personable and more individualized than your generic commercial setting. The problem with a lot of sales processes is they've either come from other industries or they come from fitness and commercial gyms that are just selling in bulk and not selling higher ticket products. So if you're selling in the vicinity of 60, 70, upwards of $99 to $149 per week like we are, you really do need to take the time to achieve a few things. You need to build rapport, that's obvious, but you also need to find a gap. And the gap is where your solution slots in. So a lot of people will come in with this goal, but they won't necessarily know what's between them and where they want to be. Okay? So the strength assessment really opens up that gap. It highlights how weak people are, and in reality, if what you're selling is a solution to their health, their longevity, then strength is going to be a huge part of it. I just want to show you how we've set up our gym so that from the very moment people walk in, they start to see results on the wall. Okay, usually those pieces of equipment aren't there. The place is well presented. We have a sit-down area to start the conversation, but as you'll see in a moment, you can just have your conversation standing up. So this is where we're set up right here. So the first thing that you should do as a good salesperson is have all the gathered details already entered in. So what I've got here is the strength assessment form, and I'll have first name, last name, phone number, and email address already entered in. This just lives on the back end of a website. So for this client, I've set that up so that they can just go to their URL /strength assessment form, and it's sitting there plugged into the CRM. So all the results from the test today will be put into the CRM under the contact, which is really cool because if that person does leave and doesn't buy, you'll have their specific results that you can remarket to them with. So that's a cool little hack there if you're really business savvy and orientated and you want to create a system that really outshines your competition. So we've got their basic details. Pretend you're now the prospect walking in. The first thing that I'll do is greet you. I'd say, hello, welcome to Fitness XYZ. It's great to have you here. As you can see, we've got lots of space, some people training over in the corner. Hey, Jody, have you met Bob yet? This is all about trying to create connections very early on. If there's no people in your gym, don't worry. That's just a little bit of a seasoning on top. From here, although they've booked in for a strength assessment and although they've left their details and they've opted in, you need to get their physical opt-in or their opt-in in presence. And what I mean by that is, hey Bob, today what we're going to do is just going to go over some basic questions to get a good idea of your goals, medical conditions, training history, and then we're going to do a physical assessment. And in that physical assessment, I'm going to push you a little bit, but not too hard. What we're trying to achieve in this physical assessment is just get a really clear starting point from you. Is that okay? And it's in the silence that the person will say yes or no. They're obviously going to say yes, but by saying yes, they're intrinsically motivated to really lean in and pay attention and not just go through the motions. So now you've got their opt-in, the next thing to go through is obvious. Bob, what are your fitness goals? And the thing with asking fitness goals is it's like an onion, you've got to peel back the layers, okay? And you've got to really get down to the detail. So weight loss might be a goal, great, how much weight do you want to lose? And is there a specific date that you'd like to achieve that weight loss by? Why is that weight loss important to you? These are all great questions to ask. With silence in between each, you need to speak less and let them talk more, okay? Once you've got that first initial information, the next thing you want to do is really open up that gap, ask them what they've tried in the past, okay? Commercial gyms, large group fitness classes, small group fitness classes, etc. Ask them what they do for work. Is it sedentary work? Is it active work? Okay, do they smoke? How often do they smoke? Alcohol? Now, those questions are obvious because they do take people away from their goals, but a lot of the time they're spending a lot of money on those habits as well. So you've got a double-edged sword, which you can very easily utilize to help them make the decision to reroute that income that they're spending on bad habits, taking them away from their goals, to habits that actually take them towards their goals. You buy takeout, yada, yada, yada. And then you want to ask as well, what do you need from us to help you achieve your goals? Because they'll come out with some really interesting things that you may never have ever thought of putting in your program. And it also helps you create an anchor to highlight and offer the things that you do already provide based on what they say they wanted. Do you have any pre-existing injuries, any roadblocks coming up in the next 6 months? These are all questions you want to ask, either standing up, sitting down. You'll get the vibe from the person, you can change that up. That doesn't matter. The next thing is selling fitness, standing up and moving around. I think it's absolutely wild that I sold fitness for so long sitting down. Sitting down for 45 minutes, would never actually touch a barbell or a dumbbell. And albeit it did work, but it didn't necessarily hit the mark. And what I mean by that, it didn't punch the person in the gut and really show them, like, mirror up in the face, you're weak, you need this. And this strength assessment that I've created, it highlights a few common areas of weakness, and it's responsible for completely turning around the sales in our gym. So I guess I could probably say I've sold over $1 million in fitness. I've been in business for a decade. We've done more than $100,000 per year every year for the last decade. So it's well beyond $1 million. But more than that, I don't say that to brag, but I say it to show you that I've done a lot of different things. I've tried a lot of different sales systems, and I've got the gift of the gab, and I do like sales, so I can take processes that aren't streamlined and make them work. But when it comes to giving that process to someone else, it's a very hard teach to get them to really open up and become somebody who can take a really crappy process and turn it into a good one. So this process is so streamlined that the worst salesman can actually sell fitness, and a lot of the people watching this video, I'm assuming, either don't like sales, you might like sales, this will help you a bunch as well, or you've got team members that you want to teach. So without delaying this any further, I'm going to show you the 3 exercises that we go through in the strength assessment to highlight weakness in a prospect to make our membership an absolute no-brainer. So what I've got set up here behind me is I've got a stool. Now I'll use this stool for a front foot elevated split squat. I've got a mat. I'll use this for a full plate. And then I've got some dumbbells hiding over here. I'm going to use them for a farmer's carry. Now if you just bear with me for one moment, I'm not going to edit this. I want to show you how real this is. this is a strength assessment card. How many prospects do you think go into a gym, get sold a gym membership, leave with a key tag, a bunch of useless shit in a bag, and regret their purchase? Conversely, how many people go into a gym, get sold in a membership, and have a little gift card to take away, which shows them exactly where they are right now, so they can keep looking at that, show their friends, etc., etc. Print this off. This is very powerful. You have the exercises down here. You've got the different levels that you can achieve for those exercises, and then you've got a timeline of average success. Okay? And in this single card, not only do you find their starting point, you get them thinking about their end point, and you also get to highlight how long it'll take for them to get to a goal. So this is a brilliant little card. It's got some facts on the back as well. If you can learn these facts, you'll be able to really spit them out like spitfire when you're taking them through the strength assessment and tailor it to the actual person that's in front of you. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is the front foot elevated split squat. And I'm just going to move you so you can see me. Okay, so with the front foot elevated split squat, this is a really great exercise to highlight a few things: ankle mobility, knee strength, and hip mobility. Okay, this is going to translate to leg strength. So women who want to build glutes, it's going to translate to women who have had babies and want to be able to run around with the kids. It's going to translate to men who have old footy injuries that want to get back into playing footy or just want to get back to running 5Ks. So it's a very functional test, and how you'll set up for this is you'll want them to start out fairly easy, okay? This is about a 30 centimeter box, and as you can see, front foot's elevated, the knee is going mid-toe, okay? Hamstring to calf, heel is flat to the box, and my knee is going over my toe. So this is the standard. The standard is you want to have your heel grounded, not lifting, knee over toe, midline, okay? And then you'll want to also make sure hamstring, calf are in full contact, and then come back up, okay? Now, what you'll do is you'll get them to just go through a few reps, okay? Might do 6 reps, and if it looks too easy, that would be an indicator to reduce the height of the box. How do we do this? We do this by grabbing some plates. Alright, so we've got one plate there. And depending on the person, you might want to put 3 plates up. The increments should be small. And then you go through the test once again. Okay. And you might do another 6 reps. Now obviously this person's warming up as they're going through these different levels. If you've got a person who's not very athletic, you might have a box with plates stacked up on it, okay? If you don't have a box, you'll have several plates stacked up. I think plates are the best way to progressively overload through a 12-week program this particular exercise to get them to a point where they are able to go hamstring to calf, knee over toe, heels to the ground for 10 reps. Okay? And it's this standard that we assign the level live to. What is the level live? The level live is the first level of core strength, not core strength, but foundational strength that creates the standard for not living in pain. You could probably agree that if you had a client who could not do 10 body weight, hamstring to calf, ATG split squats at the beginning, and then 12 weeks later they couldn't do that, so they progressed from not being able to do them to being able to do them, they would most likely be out of a lot of different chronic pain that is either in the back, the knee, or anywhere else, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is this exercise is a great overall leg exercise that isn't very dangerous, lightweight, easy to do, but it definitely shows the person that they might not have everything they need to have when it comes to their leg strength and leg mobility, okay? So that's number one. Live is the level they want to be at, because that's just living without pain. The next one we're going to go through is the farmer's carry. Now with the farmer's carry, there's a lot of longevity expert science that correlates grip strength to being independent in the last decade of your life. Okay? That's a big sell for us, especially if you're selling to men or women over 30. They want to age well, age strong, age not unlike their mum or their father or their uncle or whoever else. So you'll need their body weight for this one, because you're going to work it out based on a percentage of their body weight. Okay? So the whole exercise is simply picking up these dumbbells, holding them for 60 seconds, walking up. Okay, I'm not going to do it for the whole video, but walking back. Don't walk backwards like I just did. So you're going to walk up, okay, and then you're going to walk back like this for 60 seconds. The standard for women is 75% of body weight for 1 minute. So if she's 60 kilos, then that'll be 45 kilos and a half, so that's 22.5 kilo dumbbells in each hand for 60 seconds. Good luck trying to get most women who come in to see you do that. So this will be a really good exercise to actually highlight, wow, I'm really not strong. And that's okay. Do you start them off at 75% of body weight for a minute? No, you don't. Give them a few warm-up sets. So you might go and say, all right, this is the goal, 25 kilos in each arm. Let's try the 10s. Let's try the 15s. Let's try the 20s. Let's try the 25s for a minute. That's 4 minutes in total. Obviously, if they're doing it with ease, then you don't make them go the whole minute. You stop the set, you increase the weight. Treat it dynamically, where there's not so much structure that you have to do 4 1-minute sets, okay? But have a little bit of common sense, start light, and then chunk up so that you're testing them, but you're not testing them unsafely. The last exercise is a full plank. So with a full plank, that is hands, toes, shoulders protracted, hips in line, so no TPs, no sagging. As soon as there's a TP, as soon as there's a sag, you're going to cut the set. You want to make sure they're holding that nice and strong for 2 minutes. And that is a very basic level core strength standard to avoid back pain. A lot of physios will agree that if you've got a person that can hold a full plank for 2 minutes, they're unlikely to suffer with chronic back pain. Of course, there's circumstances where they might, but it's a blanket foundational standard, okay? In the strength assessment, we have side planks, we have hanging leg raises, okay, and they're all at different levels. But hopefully what you kind of have seen here is a very casual, clinical approach to identifying somebody's gap when it comes to their strength. Now, inside of this form, you'll record their body weight, you'll record shorthand what they've achieved, so 20 centimeters, front foot, raised, body weight, 5 reps. That's an example of how to record. You've got their level achieved, okay, so did they achieve live, long, or perform? And then you've got the farmer's carry, again, what level did they achieve, live, long, perform, and again, full plank, how many seconds they held before live, long, perform. So you've got all the results there. And it's at this point, with a pen, not only do you want to put it into your form so you can keep the results, you want to put it into this little box right here. So shorthand it, and then you want to draw their attention over here to where they sit on that longevity scale. Did they fall short of live? Okay, so did they get live on all 3 of these tests? If they fell short, so they missed 1 or 2, then they're within this area here, okay? And that's a very easy sell. It's like, hey Bob, right now your strength shows me that you do not have enough strength to live pain-free, which explains why you're tired, lethargic, got some back pain, and you just can't get over that hamstring injury that you had 20 years ago. The fix, about 3 to 6 months working inside of this gym with our periodized programming. We see men just like you going from this level to live and very close to living long. If you stuck around for 12 months, when was the last time you stuck around in a gym and were consistent for 12 months? 20 years ago, right? Yeah. You would go beyond live long and you'd be getting close to performing really well. How would that feel for you? Great. Do you want help closing that gap and achieving better results in this strength assessment the next time you do it? Bloody oath you do. Great. And as at this point, you go into your price presentations, whatever they may be. But that's the strength assessment in total. If you're a cool kid and you've got a sniper website that I've built for you, you would have this here little form to submit. Submit that, that'll go to the back end. And from there, it's as simple as either they sell, they make the sale, you make the sale and they become a member, or they go away to think about it, okay? And when they go away to think about it, if you're smart, you've got some emails that go out to them and say, hey Bob, here's the results from your strength assessment. Based on these results, this is what you can expect over the next 5 years, 10 years. When you are looking for a program, make sure you look for these things. We've got these things in our program, just so you know. Maybe today's not the right time for you, but how about we follow you up in a month from now? So all of these systems are very easy to implement and don't actually require extra effort on your part. But they go a long way to creating momentum in your business. So if this is something that you could see being implemented in your business and you'd like to know more, just reach out to me however which way you can, whether it's through comment, DM, wherever you see this, email, chase me down, send me a post, a letter in the post, and we can have a look at how we can actually do this for you. But that's the strength assessment. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.